I want my vote back. Trump voting family stunned after Canadian mother detained over immigration status. The family of a Canadian national who supported Donald Trump's plans for mass deportations of immigrants say they are feeling betrayed after federal agents recently detained the woman in California while she interviewed for permanent U.S. residency and began working to expel her from the country. We feel totally blindsided, Cynthia Oliveira's husband, U.S. citizen and self-identified Trump voter, Francisco Oliveira, told the California news station KGTV. I want my vote back. Cynthia Oliveira, a 45-year-old mother of 3 U.S.-born children, thus joined a growing list of examples contradicting the Trump administration's claims that the immigration crackdown it has spearheaded since the president's return to the Oval Office in January has prioritized targeting dangerous criminals. Being in the U.S. without legal status is generally a civil infraction rather than a criminal violation. Nonetheless, despite its claim that the immigration crackdown is mainly meant to rid the U.S. of violent criminals, the White House has maintained that anyone in the U.S. who lacks legal status is a criminal subject to deportation. Oliveira was unwittingly thrust under the weight of those policies after Trump spent his successful 2024 presidential campaign promising to pursue them, earning her husband's vote along the way, according to what he told KGTV. She was just 10 when her parents brought her to the U.S. from Toronto without permission, she said to the station. By 1999, when she was about 19, U.S. immigration officials at the Buffalo border crossing had determined Oliveira was living in the country without legal status and obtained an expedited order to deport her. But after being removed, she was able to return to the U.S. by driving to San Diego from Mexico within a few months. They didn't ask me for my citizenship. They didn't do nothing, Oliveira would later say to KGTV. They just waved me in. She recounted spending the next 25 years working in Los Angeles, paying taxes, and providing for her family. KGTV reported that its investigative team scoured California and federal court databases, but the unit found no criminal charges under Cynthia Oliver's name. In 2024, toward the end of his presidency, Joe Biden's administration granted her a permit, allowing her to work legally in the U.S. She had also been navigating the process to obtain legal permanent U.S. residency, colloquially referred to as a green card, for years. Nonetheless, instead of supporting the candidate Biden endorsed to succeed him, then Vice President Kamala Harris, Oliveira's husband supported Trump in the November's White House election. He told KGTV that Trump's promises to deport criminals en masse, despite his own May 2024 conviction of felony falsification of business records, appealed to both Francisco and Cynthia. And echoing other mixed immigration status families who have had members affected by Trump's policies, the Oliveiras did not believe she would be hurt by her lack of legal U.S. residency. They learned she would, in fact, be affected by her immigration status when she went for a green card interview in Chatsworth, California on 13 June. She was detained there by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, according to a Change.org petition pleading for compassion on behalf of Cynthia. Oliveira has since been transferred to an ICE detention center in El Paso, Texas, to await being deported. Speaking to KGTV over a video call from the El Paso facility, Oliveira suggested her treatment was undeserved. The U.S. is my country, Oliveira remarked to the station in an interview published on July 3rd. That's where I met my husband. That's where I went to high school, junior high, elementary. That's where I had my kids. But the Trump administration had little sympathy for Oliveira, despite her husband's support of the president, with the spokesperson saying in a statement that Cynthia was an illegal alien from Canada. Oliveira had been previously deported and chose to ignore our law and again illegally entered the country, as reported by Newsweek. The statement noted that re-entering the U.S. without permission after being deported is a felony, and it said Oliveira would remain in ISIS custody pending removal to Canada. Canada's government commented to KGTV that it was aware of Oliveira's detention, but could not intervene on her behalf because every country or territory decides who can enter or exit through its borders. Francisco Oliveira, for his part, summed up his and his wife's disillusion by saying, "My wife, up until a couple of weeks ago, was a strong believer in what was going to happen the next 4 years." Oliveira, meanwhile, has said she has told officials she and her husband are willing to pay for her to fly to Canada, where she plans to stay in Mississauga with a cousin. But there had been no immediate indication when she may be able to travel to Canada. As she fought back tears, Oliveira said to KGTV, "The only crime I committed is to love this country and to work hard and provide for my kids." Now facing deportation, Oliveira remains in ICE custody, separated from her children and husband. Her story has left her family disillusioned, highlighting how the Trump administration's sweeping immigration policies are impacting even longtime residents who once believed they were safe. That is all for today in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully the information is useful to you. See you later in the next video. Till then, take care.
I want my vote back. Trump voting family stunned after Canadian mother detained over immigration status. Cynthia Oliveira, a Canadian national and long-time US resident, was detained by ICE during a green card interview despite decades of living in the US, raising a family and having no criminal record. Brought to the US as a child, she was previously deported in 1999, but returned shortly after her husband, a Trump supporter, now feels battered by the administration's sweeping immigration crackdown. Granted a work permit on the border, Oliveira's lack of legal status led to her detention and pending deportation. She plans to return to Canada, expressing heartbreak over being treated as a criminal despite her contribution and loyalty to America.